Hey gang, it's Mitchell Anthony, Chief Investment Officer for Mitchell Anthony Capital Management. Welcome to another episode of Beat the Bogey. There's been news flow out this week, as always. Today we're going to talk about some very interesting news just out on Facebook, a company that investors and consumers find fascinating. So stay tuned in. We'll be right back with another exciting episode. Okay, Kyle, let's talk about Facebook. Great company I've always been excited about. Zuckerberg's got some new and exciting ideas that he's been talking about over the last few months, all tied to this new digital currency called the Libra, and what he's going to bring to the table for consumers that he thinks is going to be fantastic, and obviously there's something in it for him. What is it?
Right. Of course, there's something in it for Facebook, but yeah, the Libra is Facebook's new digital currency, and it's exciting because Facebook intends for the Libra to basically overcome all of the failings that have plagued something like Bitcoin, kind of the original digital currency, from seeing global adoption and widespread use.
Yeah, I think you're right. This is there's been a lot of focus over the last few years on what Bitcoin did, and there's been a few other digital currencies that have hit people's wallets, Tether and a few other names that really didn't turn into anything. But Facebook thinks they've got it right this time, and I kind of get a hunch they've got something as well. And it seems to be tied to two issues they have identified that are important to consumers, which is a stable currency, number one, and two, a transaction-free currency, right? That's what's exciting about this.
That's exactly it. So these were kind of, things that never were quite accomplished in a single digital currency that's existed to now. Bitcoin, cumbersome, expensive in terms of transaction costs to use. You got to, when you're trading your US dollars, for example, to get it, that's costly. When you send it to somebody else to pay for something, that's costly. There's kind of transaction fees all the way down. And that really is impactful to the user in a negative way. And Bitcoin particularly is a coin that has not been known to be all that stable, as we've seen. If you see it in the news, it could be trading at $10,000 one day and $20,000 the next. These have been big problems for Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're trying to address this by, this is going to be a currency you're going to mine, like Bitcoin, and try to find mines. They're just going to create it, and they're going to peg it to a certain basket of currencies, and it's going to be fixed at that. And they've got a consortium of, I don't know, 50 to 100, strong U.S. brand name consumers, the Visa at the top of the list, who are going to be there kind of pegging this currency to a fixed price, so it's stable. So if I want to, take $10,000 of my U.S. dollars and convert them to Libra, the hope will be they'll be worth $10,000 in 6 months when I go to spend them, or a year or whatever, right?
That's exactly right. There's this consortium that you talked about, a lot of whom comprised of trusted companies like Visa, for example, companies that are already familiar with the payment space. They're going to put together this basket of US dollars, euros, kind of global government-issued currencies that will back and peg the value of the Libra. So right, you can feel comfortable if you take 10,000 of your US dollars and convert that into Libra, that kind of conversion rate will hold for the most part over time, because this Libra association is going to act to try to keep this value stable. So that's a big key component for anybody who's thinking of seriously holding and using this currency, that it maintains its value, where Bitcoin has clearly been a failure.
Right. So there's been some raised eyebrows, though, over the last, the news flow we've gotten on the Libra this last week has really been tied to regulators now talking about it, central bankers talking about it, President Trump talking about it, European Union people talking about it, and they've all kind of raised their eyebrows and say, this company that we've kind of been worried about already with privacy issues, and now they want to create a currency. And we have to make sure that this isn't going to be some further invasion of people's privacy, but more importantly, maybe undermined the U.S. government's ability to kind of conduct monetary policy, right?
You're exactly right. I think the governments and regulators are always afraid of what they don't understand and can't control. And I think both of those things are the case here with Libra. It's not intended to be centrally controlled by the U.S. government. And to the extent that our government uses monetary policy to sanction a country, for example, or prohibit somebody from using funds to buy illicit goods or something, there's the question of how are we going to control Libra's use in that same way that the government kind of controls U.S. dollar, the global reserve currency now, its use for kind of those different policy types of things.
So clearly the regulatory environment is going to have to kind of find its way here a little bit. There really isn't any rules in place, it appears, that Facebook has to go out and comply with. In doing this, that they can just walk into this arena and start doing it. But I think they've made it quite clear that they want to work with governments to create a regulatory environment so they're comfortable with it too, because they want consumers to use this currency. And what's the reason why they want consumers to use this currency? This is what's in it for Facebook.
Right, what's in it for Facebook. But just to your point, I think you're exactly right. They've had some issues in the past with privacy, for example, and now they're moving into this financial payments space, very sensitive information here. So they want to make sure that governments, consumers, kind of everybody feels comfortable on every level in terms of control and privacy and other things to help foster worldwide adoption, which is their goal. Because this is all about, what's in it for Facebook, right? Which is more stuff to offer to their advertisers.
Right. There's a long line of advertisers already kind of knocking on Facebook's door, saying, "Wow, if you're going to have fresh, crisp data on how the U.S. consumer spends money in Europe when he goes on a trip, or how he spends money when he's in Asia, how he kind of does his global consumption. Wow, that's really powerful information, and we'll want to get that information from you and advertise on your platform." Facebook, Google, Amazon are kind of the lead players right now in the world of online advertising. And this may well put Facebook at the top of the class when you start to think about what this brings to the table for them, and the sort of top line growth that could be there for Facebook as a result of this really unique,
right,
interesting product.
Yeah, it's exciting. Like you say, there's other Googles and Amazons and companies that have their trove of data on users that they can offer to their advertisers. Facebook, in having this kind of financial component to already having all the data that exists already on Facebook, they will just have such a robust picture to offer advertisers to help the advertisers target exactly who they want. Unmatched, perhaps. I think in addition to, and this is what Facebook has been kind of talking up, steering away from kind of data, which has given them problems with privacy in the past. Facebook has been more open about, they just want people to use this and be on their platform to use it. And so that sell to advertisers is just that, look, we're going to have a bunch more people on Facebook all the time, using Messenger, whatever, to use Libra. And so there's just, more people using Facebook more often and its platforms. So that's just more advertising eyes available.
So obviously, what they're going to do from this and how their advertising budgets might grow and change clearly aren't in analyst estimates yet. This is all just kind of exciting new news. But this is how you beat the bogey, by getting where people are going and getting there early and getting ahead of things. And to me, this is just another reason why an investor like Mitchell Anthony Capital Management wants to own these great corporate American superstars like Facebook, because this is what I perceive as a great growth initiative for them. And if they can manage the privacy issues that are going to kind of come up here, I think they'll monetize it quite well.
I think you're absolutely right. This is a growth innovator, and that's the type of company that we love to invest in. And I think they've had enough trouble in the past with regulatory issues and privacy. It's clear that they're playing this one more on the safe side and trying to take these steps in advance and please regulators and so on and so forth. I don't think there's any reason to believe, with the information that we have now, that it's not going to happen at some point.
Well, obviously, there's going to be more developments that, and this kind of cloudy picture will become clearer over the next 3 to 6 months. Facebook's talking about getting this currency launched within 6 months, and we've seen the stock move from the $180 number to $200 and change as this news has kind of played out. And as once the picture is real clear, the stock may well be another 10 or 20% higher. Who knows? If it's good news, on the other hand, if it turns out they can't really launch this product, the stock could be right back to 180 where it was before. But anyway, I think that kind of brings this show to a close as we end another great episode of Beat the Bogey. So thank you for being with us today.